Guys, how you doing? Coach Mitch here. So I get emails all the time for the past 7 years, people having fears about going down the CBPO route because of maybe something in their past. And so they worry about that. Will I even qualify? Well, let's go through some 6 points here. I hear a lot of times about old credit issues. And so, yeah, they are going to check your credit for sure as you go through the process. So people sometimes stop themselves because they fear that. Let's get right down to it though. So if you have credit issues or credit past, even credit current, right? It's okay to have those. What they're looking for is you are trying to do some kind of restitution towards fixing that, right? So what they don't want is you sit on a credit, say for 2 or 3 years that you haven't paid any money towards, right? You can even start today. Start paying some of that restitution, $10, $50, whatever you're showing. You want to show them by the time they get into your background check that you can say, yes, I am paying back the monies, right? I'm doing it slowly, but I'm doing it. They don't want squatters on credit. They want you to show some kind of forward momentum towards paying off your credit bills you might have in the past. See, the issue is that they understand you're human. They understand you might have some past issues, but what they also want to understand is that what are you doing to fix that? So now you're thinking, well, why is that? Why are they so hard about that? Because they don't want people who are owing a lot of money without paying the money back. Owing is fine. The owe money is fine. What isn't fine is you're not showing any forward momentum as far as paying it back. That's the issue, guys. Number two, people talk about job mistakes, right? The past. I got fired. Should I still apply? Yes. Over 50% of people in America have been fired before from a job, so you're not going to be in the minority. You're actually going to be in the majority, right? Of people who have actually have some kind of issues with their past jobs, because being fired is one thing. It's okay. What isn't okay is trying to cover it up, act like it never happened, or trying to be defensive in your statement of why you got fired. Don't do that. Just tell the facts, and it's the way you say the facts too. I do a lot of SF-86 review for people because they have these, they're trying to explain why they got fired from a job, but instead of doing facts, they're going to these emotional, defensive type explanations, and they don't want to hear that. Just tell the facts. Now, this is where often I have to reconstruct your reasons why, because you're the person who got fired. So, of course, you'd be a little emotional about that, a little defensive about that, and it makes sense because some of you are really fired for reasons that were not, should we say, deemed legal, correct, right, fair, whatever you want to call it. But it's not the act of being fired, it's how you explain it is what people get stuck on a lot, because they want to hear about the honest truth about why you got fired and how you have learned from that, how you're going to correct yourself in the future, and things of that nature. Do not let being fired stop you from going through the process. That doesn't make any sense. Do not disqualify yourself because of something that most Americans have been through. Yeah, if over 50% have been fired before from a job, that puts you in the majority. So there's no need to make it like, oh my gosh, and he was so bad to me. Even if you had the worst employer in the world, the worst employer, say you walk to work every day, he said bad things to you every day, do not put that down on your SF-86 as to why you were fired. You want to put down the facts, right, of why you were fired, so they can then call that employer and find out. You must make sure that the reasons why you're fired align with what they're going to say, right, and which is the truth. They know when CBPO calls, they better be honest as well, or it's going to cost them. Understand? That's a big deal. Another thing we're going to talk about here is the minor DRUG use in the past. In the past means, you want to make sure that you explain to them, hey, it was an experiment, I tried this, or, I was young and, or even I used this until a point where I wanted to get serious about my life. And you don't want to hide that kind of usage at all, the DRUG usage. You want to let them know that what you did and when you did it. And they even ask you too why you did it, right? Some people are curious about it, Some folks tried it one time. It's not a big deal, you guys. You have to be honest. That's what they're looking for. Again, see, this whole thing circles around integrity. That's what they're looking for, okay? Number 4 is your gaps in employment. If you were unemployed from March 3rd to March 15th, you need to state that. Do not put down some kind of nonsense where you're trying to cover it up or make it look like you're employed the whole time if you were not. And for you guys that have been around longer than 30, 35 years, right, you're definitely going to have some gaps in your employment for sure. It's almost a guarantee. You need to put that down. What happened and why you haven't been working, and what's happened from them that point on. Just explain to them what's going on, okay? Big one here is social media fears. So yeah, if you guys are being online making some crazy things that are racist or sexist or whatever, you're gonna have a hard time with this, because this agency doesn't want to deal with those kind of people. They just don't. Those people cause problems for any kind of legitimate business. You know, if you said a couple things that are maybe funny or a little offensive, that's okay. You know, I've grown since then. You know, I realized I went down the wrong path and so on and so forth. You know, that's always okay, because we're all young and stupid at some time in our lives. We say dumb things, you know, and that happens. So when they catch that, and they will, people say, well, Coach Mitch, is illegal to do that. You know, I really don't know if it's legal or not. I can tell you that they do it. So they do look at those things. So you want to make sure that you are on point there as far as having the knowledge to say to them, yes, I did this at this time here, and yes, it was dumb to do it, but this is the truth, and there we go. What you don't want to say is, oh, I not me. No, not me at all. Once you say things online, it stays there forever, and it will be found out by CBPO. People know how to find those kind of things out. The advantage for you is this. Here's your advantage. Be honest. Yep, I was dumb. It was, gosh, it was just emotional. Whatever it is, be able to explain it thoroughly. Now, again, if you're so ranting, racist or sexist, you're gonna have a hard time. They just don't want those kind of people in uniform taking care of the country. That's just not going to happen for you. Last thing is here. You want to be honest the whole time in your disclosures. You want them to understand that, yes, you may have made some mistakes, would be credit, maybe could be jobs, whatever it is. Just be honest in your approach from start to finish. And the reason why I keep saying be honest and be integrity filled, because they want people who are integrity filled. That's the issue, right? They don't want you trying to hide or trying to be smarter than them, because you're not going to be smarter than them. The SF-86, the background investigator, and the poly will make sure that you're being honest the whole time. So don't try to play games. Just be honest, okay? A lot of people who've gone through my process, whether it be for CBPO, BP, Secret Service, Marshals, FBI, they've all had stuff in their past where they simply explained it away and they got their jobs, and today they wear the badge. You can do the same thing too, all right? If you're interested in the SF-86 review, down below, of course. If you want some coaching, down below as well. I can help you with all that kind of stuff, okay, guys? Be honest in your approach. Take care. Have a good day. Bye-bye, Coach Mitch.